I love how you ask if I'm ready and you don't let me answer before you do the count.
I think you are ready.
Are you ready? Because
You-
I am.
You answered it before I asked.
Well, did I though?
Because I was like, "Hey, are you ready?" He's like, "Yeah. What am I gonna do?" And then we came to the conclusion.
Did
now,
I though?
what are these guys called?
They're called Inquisitors.
They're called Inquisitors? Like,
Yeah.
what is... Huh, okay.
They're called Inquisitors.
Are they look steam... They're like little clockwork guys.
They are mechanical, crazy constructs that have I mean, I don't know. They got like body parts in there.
They got something going on.
I'm not real sure what the story is with these guys. I would like to know. That one's got a glitch on his red. That's a bummer.
Inquisitors. Welcome in, everybody. We got Sugar Rush. Matt is hyped. Cat, Plum Crunchy. That one, Bobby. John. What's going on, everybody? We're painting up some city-states. And by we, I mean Jason.
Hi, that's me.
Now, Jason, I was looking at Conquest. They got some, I don't know.
You built some models.
I did. I really like those tree models.
You built some models.
They're very cool.
He surprised me. He took some models home to build. He took the trees because he if
Yep.
you know Chris, he's into trees.
I'm looking for good tree models, and those I'm actually very impressed.
They're really neat.
I do like those. I would just paint those even if I wasn't gonna play. I would just paint those.
They're really cool.
Yeah, they are
super
great.
super cool. And that's been my whole look at this army is that I just don't care about the play part. I'm more interested in the,
the hobby.
The cool. Yeah, it's like these are just every single one of these models has been super cool to paint.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter to me that I might not actually use them for anything.
Right.
Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Who cares? I do what I want.
That Chai Cat, what's going on? Zilfer, it was a rainy weekend. It was gloomy, but not in a bad way.
Was it rainy?
It was rained by me a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It was nice and cold.
I don't think it was really rainy.
I don't turn my heater on during the winter. So this weekend the house got real cold.
Oh.
It got like 58 in there. I'm like, you know what? Let's just start a fire.
Real cold is 58?
In the house.
Okay, just checking.
In the house.
I'm not passing judgment.
You're right. No,
I'm not passing judgment.
I should be very careful though, because everybody right now.
I'm not passing judgment, but we have people in chat that are going to be at like minus 14.
Yes, that is very true. A lot of people are suffering right now, so I don't discount that. That's for sure. Plum Crunchy says, "Man, that red is poppin'." What red is that, Jason?
That's Bold Pyro.
Bold Pyro.
Bold Pyro red. That's it. Just over that same zenithal we've been doing, which is the dark purple, red oxide, and then bright pale yellow. And the bright pale yellow is what then I filter the red over the top of it thinly, so it picks up some of the bright pale yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Works like a champ.
Works like a champ.
Like a champ, it works.
Like a champ, it works.
It works like a champ. Like a champ, it works. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Jason says this. There's a little smudge on my screen. I'm like, Jason says this as he is complaining all last week about 65. Hey, we suffer too. Burr.
Yeah, you don't know our pain.
Yeah.
It's all relative. You guys moved there expecting minus 14. We didn't move to Phoenix expecting 60 degrees.
We moved to Phoenix accepting that we would be in a mini bake oven through 60% of the year.
We moved here for the heat. I don't know what this nonsense.
Yeah, I moved here for the heat.
Last night was cold.
It was, dude.
It was cold. It was cold this morning.
Yeah, it was 35 on my way to work, which is very surprising. Burnt umber.
Some burnt umber.
Is this do they have some skin on them too?
That's all
right?
this is, yes. They have skin that is
it's like flayed skin, like going into the
yeah.
Okay. Wacky.
It is kind of wacky. They're like weird golem constructs again. City States has got a lot of this craziness going on.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to much of the lore of City States, so I don't know a lot of the background. There might be somebody in chat land that can help us there, but
Chatland. A very
AKA
interesting place.
the land of chat.
The land of the living?
The land where thou'st do chat.
I don't know, man. I don't know what we call that. That Chai Cat said, warming up over here on the West Coast. Didn't even need to scrape frost off my windshield today. Sweet. Chris, is it your New Year's resolution to not be late, but to be early for all streams? No. We arrive precisely when we mean to. Wirehead, 20 stream streak. Oh, I need buttons. What am I doing with my life?
What am I doing with my life?
Very nice.
What am I doing with my life? Chris?
Yes, sir.
Don't change.
Don't go change it.
How's your weekend, sir?
My weekend was good. I Wednesday went over to Gabe's. Did a couple projects over there. We just had a little we played bucket golf, which is this little game that you go out to parks with, right?
Uh-huh.
And there's just these like canvas tent style pop-up buckets that you try to hit wiffle balls into.
Okay.
Just kind of did that. Friday I was messing around with streaming bits for I was looking into what we had for Mali, thinking about our EU stream. So I did a whole mock demo this weekend at my house.
Mm-hmm.
Did a test with all of that. That you and I can talk about more on that offline. But I was liking what I was seeing.
Cool.
Because that was one of our goals here, is to get Mally on stream with us. So, and then what did I do Sunday? Sunday we played D&D, a little bit of D&D. It was eventful.
Sunday.
So we did that, which was good. And then I also, surprise, did some garage work.
Garage work?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Just like work in my garage. I'm tearing down a wall.
Oh, okay.
Tear down this wall. And
in your garage?
I am. I'm going to make space. I'm making space,
What's
Jason.
the wall in your garage doing?
Nothing. That's why I'm tearing it down. It's like I got this weird alcove thing in the back where my my laundry machine is. Okay. And I don't need...
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like a massive closet. And I'm like, why is this wall here? I can't get to anything on this side of this empty space. So, got a big reno coming. Then I did a bunch of financial work for myself, just like looking at savings and all that kind of stuff, you know, kind of setting some goals.
Planning for retirement?
No, I am, but that's more of a passive thing. I've got many years to go.
Chris is leaving us, folks.
Oh, I'm not leaving you. You're not going anywhere.
You're not going anywhere.
You are not going anywhere. Okay, so there's a lot of skin on this thing.
Yeah.
This thing is weirder and weirder.
They're
as I see
basically like naked constructs with a red robe.
I was just about to say.
And a gold mask. It's literally all they are. They're just skin, robe, and a mask.
And then
and a little bit of mechanical features stuck in here every now and then.
It's very odd. So, anyway, that was my weekend. That's what I did, Jason.
Awesome.
What'd you do?
Jen and I went to the Barrett-Jackson Auto Show on Saturday. That was a lot of fun. We talked about it on stream last night.
Right. I saw you were streaming.
And in chat, I threw some pictures up in chat of ridiculous nonsense going on with like McLarens and very expensive Gullwing Mercedes that went for like $2.3 million at charity auction. Some crazy cars. Just a different world. Jen and I had a blast.
Nice. Yeah, it's fun to go to. Hey, Ruckett, I painted a lot this weekend too. So don't you give me no free pub for me.
Free pub for crit. Why?
No, I keep me accountable. I put paint on the model. I almost finished my gnomes.
Almost?
Almost.
Only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, my friend.
That's right. Almost got there. Source says, hey, Monument Hobbies.
That's us.
Any chance you could do a quickie about painting muscular arms in weird poses?
Nope.
A straight chest I can figure out, but when trying to work on highlights on weirdly angled muscles, etc., it ends up looking like random blotches of paint.
Typically means you're leaving too much darkness in between the muscle groups. Some sculpts are done that way. It makes it tough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these guys have crazy muscles. You're kind of getting it live?
Getting it live. We give it to you live a lot, chat.
But the big thing I think is typically leaving too much darkness in between the muscle groups, treating them like islands or something. And then it does wind up like, colors are just kind of floating on top of a bicep or whatever and not really looking like you want it to.
SN Locker says, hey, thank you. Today it happened again. Since I started rewatching your streams here and there, then I have some days while painting when some technique Jason explains on, I suddenly clicked. Okay, nice.
Nice.
It sounds like you're watching some old stuff and having a click. This happened multiple times today. Sweet.
Oh, for real.
Not only was I finally able to make multiple very good glazes, even better, I understood the concept of thinking about values.
Nice.
Rather than colors.
Very, very good.
That's awesome news.
That's
good
when
stuff.
it really starts to click. The fundamentals start to make sense. Is that focused?
Yeah.
It's just the red is fuzzy.
It's very bright.
From the airbrush, too.
The Papa Chicken says, what do you call a Frenchman that's been attacked by a cat? You got this one, Jason. I know you do.
A Frenchman that's been attacked by a cat?
Yeah.
I don't know that I...
Claude?
Oh.
I think that's... Hopefully I didn't butcher that, but that's what I think it says right there, Papa Chicken.
That is not what I would have... Where my brain would have gone on that one.
It's Claude, Jason.
Okay.
Monument
like
Hobbies.
Claude.
Yeah.
Claude.
Claude. Wow says, thanks for the airbrush tips. I adjusted the PSI on my airbrush, and the Pro-Acryl primer went on perfectly. Sweet.
Fan-freaking-tastic.
Oh, Lumberjack coming in hot. Did you know the eyes are the last thing to stop working when you're dead? They dilate. Wow. Lumberjack, I was not expecting that from you. I was not, I mean, good job, but.
I mean, good job.
I'm very surprised.
Maybe give us some warning you're going to
change
your
That's
personality?
GW for you.
They dilate. That's a Italian.
Dilate.
That was an Italian.
Dilate. Source says, I've heard that about connecting the muscles to not make them islands, but any chance you can explain the choices you make while painting them?
Well, I think the reality is you want to do that kind of method where I say just do this. Your first layer, like what I'm doing right here with the skin, is putting the first layer on very thin so that it blends, and that way I can shove it down into some of the shadow areas that go between muscle groups to eliminate that dark purple kind of line that's there on this model, and have it be where, I can eliminate the island early, so to speak, because I get flesh tone in all the dark spots, but it's just a little bit, right? Like I'm using burnt umber right now and just kind of glazing it over this crazy purplish undertone that I've got on the skin anyway. And I just want to get it into the shadows and then build it up on the top of the muscle group. So I've still got some definition. I don't want to lose that shadowed area, right? But I'm painting into it as well because my paint is so thin that, like, if I get a little bit of skin tone up in this area here, it's not going to change it too much because it's so dark anyway. And I'm glazing. And then when I go back over it with the skin tone the next time, it will darken it up, or it will brighten up the skin tone and make that area look darker. But I'm always adjusting, like glazing a little bit of skin tone into the shadows to make sure that you don't get a spot where it just looks like, a line for no reason. Like there's this line here, but it has skin tone glazed into it.
Right.
Right. Pop in a little closer. Right. See here?
Yeah.
Where that muscle group is? Makes that little V. And so you just kind of take the flesh tone and glaze it in there. You see the wetness hitting, but it's not brightening up the shadow too much. Still leaves it there, but now makes it a combo of the skin tone and the purple, as opposed to just leaving it with the dark purple and continuing to, do this area of skin and this island of skin up here. And eventually this becomes so dark that it doesn't look realistic or, looks too fake.
Yeah.
At some point. So that's what I'm doing here is I'm just glazing into all of these areas, allowing the glaze to assume some of the darkness of the purple. That gives the definition a place. And then I'll start focusing just on the upper layers of the muscles with my next pass so that I can brighten them up and it'll start to make sense.
Lyle says, I have an idea for Mass Effect Reaper-themed Necrons and wanted to imitate black blue. Would you recommend Payne's Gray as a mid-tone? What would you highlight be for that?
Payne's Gray?
As a mid-tone for black blue.
Well, blue-black and Payne's Gray, blue-black might go over Payne's Gray. Right? Blue-black is dark. Payne's Gray they're almost the same value. So I don't know. I would choose one. But whenever I'm using those colors, my first place to go is taking white blue and adding it in and just mixing, right? Because white blue is such a great color to use as a tint with both of those. Choose blue, black, or Payne's Gray, one or the other. And then when you start adding white blue in, just a little bit at a time, you'll get all of your motion through your midtones, highlights, all of that.
Swaney said, tried to do Payne's Gray on my Space Wolves was a little too much blue for me.
Yep.
So I totally switched it up and went to warm grays instead of the neutral, and voila. Oh, okay. Now,
yeah, we've talked to that with like the warm grays, and then doing a Payne's Gray wash over them is really great.
Yeah, so now the rest of the question says, now should I pin wash with black or brown?
Depends. Brown will make it look dirtier. Black will give you a deeper shade. So ask yourself what you need. There's no reason why you can't do both. If you want the dirt and the dark, then do black and follow it with brown, or vice versa, right? Because the brown will give it the idea of it being, in a dirty environment, because you'll get that brown warmth in between armor panels and such. That can look really good. And then you can go over that with black to darken it up. Typically, I like to do the black first and get the shadow on there, and then get the tone that I want to add to it, like the brown or Payne's Gray or whatever over the top of that. But you can flip it and do them in whatever order you want. We did a little bit of that yesterday where we did the, on the After Hours stream, where I did the armor, the bronze. And when I was doing the bronze, I did the petroleum brown first, which gave a neat kind of greenish, yellowish tone to the bronze. And then I went back over that with the brown gray. And the brown gray gave me a really good shade of all of that. So you can wash in two separate colors.
So Swaney says, so interesting. Would I brown over the whole thing, or still just pin?
I mean, it's up to you. Shadows, that could look really good just in the shadows. And you don't have to do, like, when you say pin wash on Space Marines, you're just getting the area in between the armor panels. You could do that. I typically want to use it as a more of a shader, so I paint it. I don't just glom it on the whole model, but rather than pin washing specifically, I do it to where I'm just painting into the darker areas of the model with the wash, and let it kind of then flow out from those to shade into the armor panels as well. God, this is a really weird get up here. I can't tell on the sculpt where skin stops and metal starts. It's very disturbing.
It's very interesting.
But again, like we were being asked, it's like there's some really deep valleys in between the muscles and tendons on this guy's arm. So I'm going in very thin with the burnt umber into those recesses.
Right.
To brighten them up a bit. And then the next layer will use like advanced flesh tone or something. I feel like these guys would be more pale just because they're, I can't imagine they're very alive. Maybe. They're super mechanical, weird.
Grand Deceiver says, I'm painting up a frost giant with light blue skin. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look alive, in quotes, enough, just flat and cold. Without starting over, what would you recommend?
You can glaze in magentas.
Escape a magenta wash.
Magentas, greens, purples, things like that we would normally underpaint with. You can glaze those same colors in over the top, and then you just put yourself in a position where you start kind of teeter-tottering back and forth between your skin tone, which in your case might be a light gray blue or whatever color you're using for the skin, and you go back and forth glazing some bluish gray on there for the highlight on the skin, and then glazing like some magenta on it. Hang on a second. I have the Frost Giant from Conquest over here, where we had started doing some of that by underpainting. We have a whole methodology for that, but the methodology is built around doing it underpainted style. It doesn't help as much for adding the color after the fact. I think some of it is added that way. Give me just a second.
Yeah, you're good. What's going on, T-Schmid?
T-Schmid. Everybody had a great weekend. I got to see some of you gang last night. We did some after-hour streaming.
Joe
went a couple hours as I was waiting for my mom to get in town.
Josie, I think I pronounced your name right. What if you're looking for... Wait, let me read this really quick. What if you were looking for the black cloak look? Okay, I think you're asking what would you do for painting black cloaks?
Painting black is not always exactly the same, but always the same principle. Start with black or, a dark color. You could do dark purple, dark blue, whatever kind of tint you want to the black. Blues and purples work very, very well, but greens can work well. Depends. If I were doing a cloak, doing it with like a blue backdrop would be cool. So you paint like dark blue, then move into like grays, warm grays, neutral grays, whatever you like.
Would you start with Payne's gray and go up from there? I want to distinguish it from gray on the model. Yeah,
you definitely can. You can start with Payne's gray, then start adding in like white blue, and do like you were going to do like non-metallic steel, and then at the end filter a black back over it. Whether it's, coal black or black wash or black transparent, whatever you like. Use a black to filter back over the top of that. Can work a champ. It's one of my favorite ways of doing stuff. It's that filter at the end, though, that saves you. Because I like to paint black where I can define all of my values in the workup along the way. So things like this, right? This black leather.
Yeah.
Is done with the black special sauce and then white blue added into blue black in this case. And so blue black is kind of that bluish mid-tone highlight that's on the black, and then the white blue, and then you can push as close to pure white blue as you want depending on how shiny you want it. But this still reads as very black. But the bluish undertones make a lot of sense for fabric, even armor, because I do the same thing for solid armor, you name it. I love blues underneath black. But this, I didn't have to do the wash over the top because I added such a sparing amount of the color and just let it work itself up to the brightest highlight on the edges where I don't overtake it to turn it gray. If you're not careful, what happens as you're working through your midtones is you turn the piece gray and you lose the nature of black. Then you can just wash a black back over the top of it and thin that wash or glaze and do it that way. That's the way you see me do all of like these armor pieces that you'll see methodologies for.
Mm-hmm.
This was all done in brighter grays, and you set the value sketch up with grays. So like the top of the backpack and everything would be bright gray, and then I filtered transparent black mixed with transparent blue back over the top, which gives me a halo of bluishness on the highlights. That was neat. That's filtered with an airbrush back over the top of everything. It takes all the grays down into the realm you want them, and then you just go back and punch some bright neutral gray onto the dots at the nose and wherever you want the most shine. And that'll still give you good black armor. And then we have the black armor workup that we did on Antonio LT Gray.
Antonio.
We did all this with Payne's Gray and blue white, and then did the black wash over the top of that. And that gives you a dirty, black armor as well. Right. So there's a lot of ways to do it, whether you want to filter back over the top or you want to just build up. Building up just takes a little bit more patience because you're going to have to add smaller amounts of color before you mess the black up and turn it to just gray. But never worry about that because, like I said, if you get it to where it's like, my black always just looks gray, that's fine because you can always just put a filter over the top of it.
Right.
And take it back to black. Never give up. Never lose hope.
Avian says, hi, Jason. Hi, Chris. Man.
Hi.
You know what? Ages since we've seen Chris. What are you talking about, Avian? I live here. What are you talking about? Rocco says, happy Monday, gents. What color would you say is the closest match to Thunderhawk Blue? Dark Sea Ben, let me look up Thunderhawk Blue.
We don't ever know the competitors' colors.
We like our stuff.
We don't have them here. We don't care about them. It's like we just don't know. I always feel like I got to go look it up. I'm like, I don't know.
We always will, though, because we want you to convert. Right here. What do you think, Jason?
What am I looking at?
Thunderhawk Blue.
They call that blue?
It's no. It's Thunderhawk Blue.
Squaw. Yeah, I mean,
Dark Sea Ben, says Rocco, maybe.
Dark Sea Ben and perhaps some faded green, right? Because that's in that realm of jade. It's just desaturated a bit.
It's desaturated jade.
Right, but you could take like Dark Sea Ben or Dark Jade, either one of those, and try adding in a little bit, because neither one of them both of those are going to be darker than that color, so you need to tint them. And I think faded green would be my choice on that. Faded green with Dark Sea Ben would be my starting point, I think.
Solo Terror is asking the difference between a glass palette and an acrylic palette. One's easier to clean.
Yeah, paint will stick to an acrylic palette to the point where you can't clean it anymore.
I get a glass palette. I've been trying to clean one of these old palettes that we've had here for a long time. I found it was like in a travel bag. I'm like, oh, I should try to clean this. It's difficult.
Yeah, acrylic is nearly impossible to clean acrylic paint off of. It just gloms on and holds on and doesn't move. So, glass.
Wad says, what color is Thunderhawk's butt anyway? It's that color, Wad.
It was kind of a jade-ish color. It's a neat color. It's just a desaturated jade almost.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that they called it blue and that it was Thunderhawk was the term that they used. Like,
ooh, Danger Muffin. What would you do for a really dark black-green armor like the 40K Lionel Johnson with the kind of blue/emerald hue? Dark black-green armor.
I did all of my 30K Dark Angels kind of that way. And I painted them with black-green and faded green mixed and painted the entire army that way. And then filtered transparent black over the top. So just like we were talking about for painting a black cloak, I did the same type of thing, but rather than starting with a blue backdrop, I started with black-green. Black-green, faded green mixed together give you a really, really good workup for desaturated green. And then layering the black transparent over the top of that turns it back to black and is unbeatable. Like my 30K Dark Angels look great that way. And we did that on the 30K Lionel L. Johnson as well. Right? So it was kind of like that.
Lionel Johnson.
Rather than the pure black, I did it with a little bit of green to it.
Lionel
now, if you
Johnson.
wanted it to be more emerald green, then you could filter it with emerald green instead of black green. Black green is very desaturated and mid-tone, or kind of less vibrant in the green scale. If you wanted something a little more emerald, like maybe the box art for him, I'm not staring at it right now, so I don't have a good.
Brent Lyons, I kind of asked you a question, but I'll pitch yours. Any tips for painting old world dwarves? Tons of metal. I have trouble picking color schemes and make mostly metal figures look interesting.
I think the key for anything like that is going to be in the weathering of it, right? Because the metal is going to get very repetitive no matter what you do. So for dwarves, I like the idea of doing a lot of it in, steel with washes and dirty it up and then highlight it back, whether you dry brush it to keep it going quick or you brush highlight, use like a bright silver to pick the edges of chainmail and all that stuff out. Then the steel really pops because you create a bunch of contrast on it, especially when using metallic paints. That's going to be the hardest thing to do. So washing it down, really dirtying it up, tarnish, whatever you decide to do. And then once you've done that, then you pick out your gold accents, because on the dwarves in Old World, you've got a lot of gold bits you can do. That'll stand out. I wish I had the models here. I left them at the house, unfortunately. The models I was working on from City States last night on the After Hours show, perfect for that, because that's exactly what we were talking about. We did them in bronze, the bronze armor, and then weathered the bronze armor by using layered washes on it to get the bronze really dark. Then you can highlight the bronze up sparingly to brighten it up, and then use gold to pick out. Now the army is going to be much more have much more contrast on it than just slopping silver and a black wash on it. We did brown washes, petroleum, stuff like that gave it a little bit more cool factor, I guess is the way to put it.
Cool factor. I'm into that.
Cool factor.
A cool factor. And we're not talking about the temperature of the room.
Or are we?
Ooh, what's this handle you got on here, Jason?
Huh?
What's this little handle thing you got on there? It's got magnets and such.
Oh, this is just the top of the handle. You know those handles you saw that you liked? Or those plasticky ones? This is kind of the top. This is the original wooden top that was the prototype for those.
Okay.
I just don't know where the bottom is. There's a black wooden bottom for this too, but I don't know where it is.
We'll find it.
He says that.
And by we, I mean Chris. And by Chris, I mean this guy.
You?
Me? Gosh, I hope so.
I don't know where anything is around here.
I do. It is in that room.
It is in that room. I swear.
It is deep, buried in the mines. Chad, I went down a rabbit hole this weekend.
What rabbit hole was that?
Looking up every type of tree model wargaming thing I could find.
Oh, yeah, you said you were going to do that.
Just trying to see.
There's a lot, yeah?
Well, I mean, and then you start getting into the world of STLs, and then you're just...
Oh, if you start looking at 3D printed stuff, you're doomed. There's like no end.
Oh, it's beautiful. So, there you go, Chris. That's right. I was looking up a lot of different models. That's for sure. That must have been a big rabbit. Oh, it was. That's right. It was something, chat. No, I will not find something that will clean Jason's brushes. Jason will clean them. I don't think. Frigid, he uses one from Amazon. It's the glass palette he uses. If you type in gray glass palette, it's that one.
He's not lying.
I believe that's like how I found it, because I use the same thing too. Is the rabbit okay? Yes. Did I see the Mad Hatter? No. But I went down that rabbit hole. Let me tell you. Mammoth Factory has a really cool one. I printed and painted it. There's a lot, chat. There's a lot of tree models out there in the world. This is how I end up growing a forest in the spare bedroom. I am off of my spare bedroom in my house. I am planning out making like this little oasis garden. That's my next big project.
Oasis garden?
Yeah, it's just kind of like a little garden. I have this patio. It's very odd off of my guest room. That's a little square patio. That's it. But it's covered by all walls, right? Every time I try to describe it, it's weird. Think of a bedroom without a roof, and it's a little square, and it's a little patio in the middle of the house. It's odd. What I'm gonna do a pond out there. I'm gonna get some plants. I got stuff to do, chat.
Nothing if not ambitious.
Something. Speaking of Mad Hatter, did you get a top hat with a monument logo, Chris? No, I did not, Mo. I don't think I'm gonna wear a top hat. I'm just gonna be just straight up honest with you. Bridget Phoenix says, I have to say, I was doubting myself and starting to question my abilities and whether I wanted to continue painting. Stopped myself, did a palette cleanse on another model, and watched a ton of your shorts and videos, and I'm back mentally wise, ready to, hey, perfect. Yeah. You have to have those side projects, man. Especially if you get in way too deep with a project, you got to have more models. Jason can attest. Jason got more Conquest today.
No way. Somebody opened my email.
I did.
I'm seriously going to fire people.
That was me, Jason.
It has my name on the box. Literally says attention me.
Well, you told me yesterday that something, I thought it was my Knights.
Oh.
You said, hey, those might be coming Mondays.
Oh, yeah, they are.
I was so excited to open that box.
They opened my box instead.
I did. So I apologize. And I'm fired.
And he's fired.
And I'll see himself to the door. No, but I'm like, ooh, that's pretty night-sizey. Because they're all
Nords.
They're all unassembled. What?
Can you pop in closer?
Yeah, they're all unassembled. And that was it's not those things.
No.
I was a little sad, to be honest. Is Chris admitting to a felony? No. Typically, I message Jason because I'm the one here, and I'm like, Jason, you got a box. You want me to open this?
I walked into my room. There's a box. It's open. Stuff flung out all over the place without any kind of regard to the safety of my models.
No, dude.
Stuff
Lies.
all over the table. Broken parts everywhere. Now I don't know who to blame. Do I blame Chris or do I blame the guy that shipped it? Now I don't know.
Oh my god.
Now I just have to eat it.
It's literally false. None of that happened. Hey, Chris, do you freehand or are you going to do something fancy to your Knights? No, I found stencils for these. I'm not going to freehand. Ghost Hunter? What? Who is this?
This has been around a couple times lately.
Ghost Hunter? I haven't seen you in a hot minute. How you doing? No, they're all assembled M3 stout. Otherwise, I would offer to do that. Belial, I will. When are we going to see Chris paint these Knights? Once I get them. I'll put them in the whip. I'll put them in the whip Discord.
Keep him honest. Hold him to it.
That's right. It's Horus Heresy Knights, Commando Ken. The big lanky ones. I really like those models.
Cerastus Knights.
Yeah, they're super cool. Compared to the Imperial Knights for 40k are cool too, but these ones I like the big lanky ones. Yes. I've been teasing you for a while, chat. No, it's not going to be another pink plaid situation. M3 Stout. It's not going to be one of those. I've been practicing the stencils on my Titans panel, so I got it down pretty good. The way I want to airbraid it. What's that?
How's that thing coming?
I lost a lot of steam on that.
Because of that gun?
Because of that gun. I just lost a lot of steam on it. I just need to pick it back up again. It's pretty close, but that gun, man, it's a beast. I've had no desire to want to clean it. You've been thinking about getting a knight for your Space Marine chapter? Totally have a lore reason why they'd have one. Hey, in your story, you can do whatever you want. They're coming for me, Jason.
I figured.
This is it.
I called him about my package. Told him, hey. Got a dude here who opened my packages.
Doghouse says, Monument Hobbies. I need to gloat a bit. Okay. The local AZ Gundam group had a diorama contest, and I won first in the advanced category with my new gravity-defying build, which is 100% pro acryl.
Nice.
Thank you for making the best paint ever. Hey, thank you.
Thank you for using it.
For being the best person ever. I said it.
Are you here in Phoenix?
Yes, Doghouse is local.
Because I have judged a couple of those in the past. They used to hold them out at like an RC car place.
Gundam.
Out in the East Valley. And I had gone out there and judged a few of those. Had a lot of fun with them. It's a different world, right? Because sometimes everybody's trying to paint for ultra clean plastics, kind of like what our January challenge is. And some of them are doing like all out military diorama, blown up.
Yeah. Big scenes.
Full on. Yeah,
that's
full
cool.
on battle damage Gundam. I get a kick out of that. All sorts of stuff going on in the Gundam world. And it just keeps growing because it keeps attracting more people from different backgrounds. It's not just the traditional Gundam painters anymore.
T. Schmid, Chris, when is your non-metallic metal learning going to start?
Never. He's chickening out.
Well, we could do it this week.
He's chickening out.
No, we should do it this week. That's the plan. We were waiting to see if potentially we were getting something last week for giveaway stuff, but I think we got what we needed, right, Jason?
Well, no, because they only sent us one.
Right. So you know what we'll do? We don't need to wait for that.
I asked him if he wants, but he's at CanCon right now down in Australia.
Oh,
so hopefully when they get done with CanCon, he'll answer me and let me know, because I was like, am I supposed to paint this one or am I supposed to give this one away? Because I'll give you one, but I wanted one to paint too.
Right.
That usually gets people hyped. And the model's really bitching, so I may just build this one and take it on the chin, and we'll just...
Yeah, Rocco, no, we'll do it. No, I'm not, T. Schmid. I am not. I just have to plan it out.
You're not what?
Rocco said, you said that last week, and says, Chris, are you in your head about it? Not really. Not really. I have to be in the mindset to want to paint on stream, to be totally honest with you, and there's a lot going on, so... Not the fact of me avoiding it to actually not do it because I'm scared, because I would like to be in a different mindset for it. But you know what, chat? I'll do it for the people.
For you. I'll do it for you.
That's right. I'll take away Jason's ability to paint on stream for a couple days.
Why do you think it's about me?
Take it over.
I still got to teach you how, so I got to paint too.
That's true.
I don't just get to sit in a chair and heckle you the whole time.
Oh, I thought that's what you literally were going to do.
Well, I mean, I can do that. I thought I was supposed to show you how to do stuff.
I thought that was the plan. I thought I was going up there and you were just going to walk me through it.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I guess that's all we
I
can
thought
do.
That's
we don't
what...
have two cameras on painting anymore, so I guess that's what we got to do.
Because I also think it would be very beneficial to you walking me through it and just recording the whole process. Because I've seen it a lot. That's for dang sure. So I definitely know the concepts. Rocket says, I just primed my 2 models with ColorForge Ghoul Gray. Such a great primer. Nice.
So good. ColorForge primers are all just so good. They just work. It's a great thing.
Mm-hmm. Frigid Phoenix says, is there ever okay not to want to play the game and just buy miniatures, especially singles, to just paint to display? Yeah.
100%. What are you talking about?
That's the definition right there.
That's kind of all Frigid. I do.
My mindset has totally changed over to that. I might play the game once, but now I'm just like, is it a tree? I get that thing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of just, rule of cool it, pick stuff to paint that you think is energizing. Hell, what you find when you start looking at the world that way is that you might start to play more if you play based on the minis and not worrying about the game and the list building and the meta and all that stuff. You might find yourself finding miniatures that make you want to get out and push them around the table, roll dice more often. Wilder things have happened. I'm just very messily putting highlights across these muscles and just kind of stippling and sketching my ends together so I get these fake blends by using wet paint. So it's pretty thin. And then just very loose brush strokes.
Brentline says, question. Been trying the old base paint, wash, build back up base, then highlight method. But my rebuilding base coat just looks weird. Almost too stark between recesses and midtone. Am I overwash? ? Am I overwashing? ?
How much too what between recesses and midtones?
Almost too stark between recesses and midtone ?
Yeah, the wash may be going on too dark. You might try thinning your wash a bit more so that you don't darken the model as much. Remember that you can do that multiple times if you want to save yourself mixing, or mix your midtone when you go back over it. Mix that to be a little bit darker so that it blends better, and then do it twice, right? Do it once where it's kind of the blended version of itself, then once where it's back to where you painted the base coat on. You could do that. But a lot of times it's better to just thin the wash so it doesn't have as high of an impact in darkening the model up if it's too dark for your midtone when you go back over the top. It'll still give you contrast visually so that you get details on the model showing and such. But it can save you some effort if you're trying to move quick, which I assume you are.
Brett says, thank you.
Definitely.
Love the streams and you guys are your guys' passion.
Love that you guys enjoy coming and watching paint dry with us.
Chaos Angel said, ordered 2 different basing textures and a couple bottles of paint, and it appears USPS has either lost it or has sent it on a joyride across the country. No. They've done it before. Do I need to be worried about damage if the product gets too cold?
Generally, no.
Don't leave it on your patio door if you're freezing, though. You probably don't want to do that.
No. But under typical delivery conditions, you shouldn't see any problem, even if it takes an extra trip around the sun and back. With all the storms going on across the U.S., I can only imagine that USPS is probably jammed up a bit.
My buddies are getting just hammered over there right now, man. Take it easy, Mo.
Mo, have a good one.
What other armies? You got Nords in that box that I opened?
So he went through it.
I didn't.
Saw what he was in there. Otherwise, how would you know?
You told me that they were going to be
true.
Nords.
That's not true.
Chris, I ordered another box of Conquest, and it's Nords. They're already built.
No. Never had that conversation. He's digging through my mail, chat.
It's the blessing of being a video.
I would say contact the FBI, but he works for them, so that doesn't do us any good.
No, I don't work for the FBI.
Did you hear the sniffle?
Yeah, that's good.
Chat, did you hear his tell?
Here's a tell for you. I don't work for the FBI. Or do I? Jason, where are you guys going to dinner tonight? You guys going out?
I don't know. We went out to brunch.
Okay, where'd you go?
My mom. We went out last night to a place called
Lolo's Chicken and Waffles.
No, it was a seafood restaurant.
Oh.
I don't remember what it's called. I'm horrible at this.
Was it a fancy place?
No, not super fancy.
Okay.
My mom's not she's not into super fancy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was up off of Bethany and 16th.
Oh.
Wild fin, blue fin.
Bluefin? Bluefin. Sugarfin?
Blue wild sugar.
Sugar wild bluefin?
I don't know.
Something like that.
Some sort of place.
Oh, that's cool.
I hadn't been there before. They had fried clams. Nobody has fried clams.
How was that?
Really good fried clams, too. It was nice.
Ooh.
So I had fried clams.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was good, though. And then today we just went to brunch at the brunch spot down on Central where we take everybody.
Yeah. Delicious. Oh, Blue Water Grill, says Jen.
Oh, Blue Water Grill.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Fin water.
Blue
I told her last night, I said, I hope the food sucks because if the food's good, I'm never going to remember this place. And here I am attesting to that. The food was good. I can't remember what the name of it was. I know how to get there, though, so that's always good.
Bearded Coyote says, sitting here working on my Legions Imperialis BA. Really enjoy your products. Can't wait for your contrast style paints. Hey!
Awesome.
They're coming. Adepticon. Get ready.
Thank you for giving us a shot.
I was over here messing around with them on Friday. It was just like trying to do some colors and just looking at them on cards and such. And I got to say, chat, that green, it's going to be a spiritual experience for me when I put it on a model. Pretty dang cool.
Perhaps is a boy dog. Model has a hell of an upskirt.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Continually wiping the paint off of my brush as I go through and do the glaze, as I can, every touch of the model will show you what kind of coloring you're going to be getting. And so always judging and rejudging the amount of color I'm getting so that I can guide it how I want for brightening it up. And I'm always taking more off of my thumb palette if needed till I get it to feel right. So when glazing, always be paying attention to the consistency and the amount of paint that you've got so that you can constantly be redirecting before you make that next brush stroke. Don't just keep smacking the brush on the model. If it's not giving you the brightness you need, go get more paint. Giving you too much wetness, wipe some off. One of those techniques where constant iterative thinking is going to help you a lot. See, zoom in tight. I want people to be able to see like the messiness of my brush stroke on this.
I'm going to try to do this actually.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see I am not really working hard to blend, but I'm building it up over 2 or 3 coats with glaze, and it blends with the burnt umber underneath it, but still gives me some texture. That's built in. That's on the sculpt, but you can kind of see on the butt cheek and all this stuff. It gives me a messy texture. And now, like we were talking about before, if this darkness between the muscles is too much, somebody was asking earlier, then I can go in with just a little bit of that glaze in that darkness area there and brighten it up.
Blend it in a little bit.
Right, I can blend it in a little bit without over brightening it. Right,
dude, this model is wacky. This model's wacky.
Oh yeah, it's
cool.
Like metal running in and out.
It's definitely cool. It's just interesting.
Yeah, they're very scary. Actually,
that's what I was just about to say. They're very interesting looking.
All right, you can pop back out. Oh, you know what? I had the hands.
Are those?
I don't have good.
Are those half skin?
Yeah. It's weird because the wrist is all completely mechanical.
Okay.
And yet the hands look to have more of a fleshy,
like the palm or something.
Yeah, like the palm is all fleshy. That's definitely not mechanical. So it's like they've grafted the fleshy hand onto the mechanical stub and then grafted it back to the fleshy arm. There's just some crazy stuff going on here. I dig the concept because I can't really get a good feel for what's happening.
Right. Carl Duty says, recommended base coat color for something that will eventually be metallic green.
Recommended base coat for something that will be metallic green.
Yeah, base coat color for something that will eventually be metallic green.
Are you wanting a green that's more yellow or more blue at the end? Like, are we British racing green where it's kind of a bluish green? Or are we yellow green? What does your final green image look like? Like in your head, what do you picture your final green to be? Warmer with yellows or cooler with blue tones? Because if you want it to be cooler with blue tones, then I would suggest, like a purple or a blue underneath it. If you're going to a warmer green, then browns make really great place to build up from greens. They're going more yellow.
Yeah, let us know, Carl Duty. Super Bleeder. How does the special sauce work with a heavy noosh weathering technique?
What do you mean?
That's the question.
Doing noosh over the top of it?
Maybe.
You could definitely do that. You wouldn't mix the two mediums. So don't, you're not going to take the special sauce and mix it with noosh. The idea of mixing is to take the medium for what its goal is and then mix color with it to make that goal happen. Don't mix mediums because each medium has a different goal, and mixing the goals is like crossing the streams. You can get some really crazy results maybe. So I'm not saying never do it, I guess.
Can't cross those streams.
But, there's really no reason to. You pick a medium because each medium is functionally different to create an outcome that you want on your model. And then you mix the colors into the medium to get that to happen with that color.
Commando Ken. Oh, hey. I have an actual question. Planning on some face workups for some Space Wolves tonight. Would reds work for undercoat, then I glaze the skin tones over? Going for like a windswept flush cheek kind of look.
Definitely could.
I'm just saying, go back and watch that that stream. If you go back and you look at those three faces that we did, it's an excellent way to do that.
Yeah, I will be honest with you. I think that doing like the underpainting method on Space Marines might be, depending on if you're confident in it, then it's a great way to do it. But it's a little overworking for if you don't have your confidence on underpainting in general. And so sometimes just going back and painting the skin tone on the model and then glazing the colors you want to see, like a little bit of reddishness on the cheeks, right? Because they're out in the cold.
Yeah.
And the skin is just flush there, right? It's not, makeup or embarrassment. And that's where you kind of find the line. You can glaze like a burnt red to give that sense of like you said, windswept, I think was your term. Underpainting takes a little bit more effort. Space Marine heads are tiny, so sometimes it can get lost in the glaze work, but that's completely up to you and where you think you are confidence-wise and ability-wise to do that kind of glazing. And if you glaze, then doing something that is like dark gray blue on the chin for like stubble, reds, if you watch any of my videos, reds up from the chin upward to the temple, and then something like the yellow greens, bright yellow greens, something in that yellowish. But if you're doing wind swept out in the cold, then maybe even red on the forehead could look good too.
Oh, going back to the metallic green, it's going to be yellow, warmer.
Yellowish?
Yeah.
Then I think browns.
Ooh, base coat with browns?
Yeah, I think base coating with browns works really well for green, right? It can make it look too dirty if you're not careful. You leave too much of the brown showing, but I still think with yellow greens, it works really well. Anything in the brown range. It could be warm brown, a little bit more red and orangey to it. It could be, the neutrals like the dark umber. Stuff like that works really well.
Booker says, I go back and forth about my favorite pro acrylic paint. I think the GOAT is Advanced Flesh Tone. Will that be in the Secret Sauce collection, or is it a perfect change in it, or is it too perfect to change its form?
I'm using it right now. I don't know that I'll do a whole lot of skin tones in that group. It would be the other one that I would do. So Advanced is the only other one besides Shadow Flesh that I think would really make sense. And Shadow Flesh is in the original 12 that'll be coming out.
Oh, it's so good.
And then we'll take a look at Advanced Flesh Tone.
It's so good.
The thing with the special sauce, you don't have to make a whole lot of colors. And the reason I'll say this is because, remember, you can put them over other colors. So if you wanted to take the Shadow Flesh version and make it a little bit more goldeny like the Advanced Flesh Tone is rather than the pink, you could just put it over like pale yellow. And you would get a totally different skin tone than if you put it over green. Right? We talk about underpainting. This makes underpainting for flesh like just
a breeze.
Too easy.
Oh, that's a good point.
Just too easy, because you could just quickly underpaint the colors, then put the Shadow Flesh special sauce over it, and just be done. It's that easy. So, that being said, you won't find me doing a million different colors for skin, because you can just create your own. And I know, I get it. Here's where everybody goes, yeah, but I'm lazy and I don't want to mix. I get it.
We'll give you some colors.
We'll give you some to play with.
We'll give you some.
And like I said, I think that Advanced Flesh Tone is the next smartest one to put into the line after Shadow Flesh. But I don't think there would be any other ones.
Advanced Flesh Tone, very good. Very nice.
What I'm glazing with right now. Alrighty.
How you feeling up there?
Good. I got to figure out what I'm going to do from Advanced Flesh Tone. I'm thinking Warm Flesh, believe it or not.
Warm Flesh, okay.
I think Warm Flesh.
Why is that?
Dark Warm Flesh might be a little too yellow. It's going to give too much life to him. This is where I need to start looking at going pale.
Oh.
And so Dark Warm Flesh is a little bit too filled with life.
Are they dead?
I think Peach Flesh might be the way to go. Yeah, I think Peach Flesh.
I guess, are they dead?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not going to paint them as if they're dead, like cadaverous.
Yeah, they're very.
But I don't know.
I feel
because
like
there's a dude here. The other guy we have him at home. The Polomark has his face has flesh.
Yeah.
But his neck is mechanical and flesh, and then every rest of his body is mechanical. So it could be that there's a brain floating in the head, and then everything else is automaton. You know, like AdMech style.
Mm-hmm. I feel like something within the machinery is keeping the skin healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know why my head goes immediately
you could have like
there.
tubes of gunk, bane juice,
That's what I'm thinking. Like
whatever it is, right? So I don't know. I don't know that they go into it in the lore, because like I said, City States lore is one that I have not listened to. So I don't have a lot of background for the City States. There might be something very specific that they call out with regard, because they have like a mechanist we've talked about that is like runs clockwork hoplites, so they're all like, just steampunk clockwork things. But I'm not sure what it drives these guys. So I want the skin to be kind of in between. I want to make it pale-ish, but I'm also going to do some magenta irritation around where like these ports for all the mechanical stuff popping out are.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So we'll be doing some of that. Why I'm doing this kind of messy texturing rather than smooth blending on these is so that it can look like the skin is kind of torn and irritated.
Simon Doto says, just got in now. That red robe is looking mint. Oh, yeah. It's very vibrant.
The reds turned out really good on these guys. It was just the dark purple that you see. Well, I don't know if you see much of it anymore, but there's some dark purple primer on the whole model. And then red oxide primer, and then bright pale yellow. Mm-hmm. And the bright pale yellow I did very strong in the areas where I wanted the red to be the most intense.
Yeah.
And it looks silly on the pre-highlight. And then you layer the red, which is just our bold pyro red, thin in the airbrush over the top, and like 3 or 4 passes over, get you this. So where the bright pale yellow was in the bright spots, that red just has super punch, but it falls off immediately into the red oxide and the purple shadows still, and lays over them really nice, which for cloth is a great way to get vibrancy, but also have that darkness that you want for immediate shadows and such. Very nice. And you can do that with the brush or the airbrush. You could put bright pale yellow underneath red and then glaze up with the brush. You're just going to want to make sure that you're trying to get your glaze done in like 2 or 3 passes. Don't do like 15. You'll miss the vibrancy point that way. You'll actually desaturate the red if you do too many coats.
Oh, I can give it a duck. There was a man admitted to a hospital in Newcastle, and apparently he's been swallowing lots of Scrabble tiles, doctors say. Doctors say that he hasn't been having any bowel movements, but when he does, it could spell disaster because he is in constant pain. Wow. Constant pain. I'm so sorry. That's a big one.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. There's a lot of dad in that one. There's a lot of dad. Hey, but thank you for letting us know. I hope you like the pun. Oh, we truly do. We want to give you all of our heart, chat.
I don't.
No, Jason doesn't. I kind of don't either. But
Chris
I'm here
and
for
Jen
you.
Are the ones that egg you guys on.
No, I will read them. And I won't enjoy all of them.
I advertise that we have the world's worst jokes.
That's right. Or Jason, are they the best? But just
no, they're the worst.
Oh.
No, we're not trying to win any awards here for great
totally
place of comedy.
Oh, totally not trademark says, love the paints, but I really wish I had known they don't do well on a wet palette before buying. I am so slow. I'm getting back into the hobby and don't have the brush control yet.
They do great on a wet palette. Just don't wet your wet palette as much as you're wetting your wet palette. The problem is that a wet palette is not, and I'll be very blunt, in the hobby world, the wet palette is not really a great addition except for when you're mixing a lot of colors. It is not the be-all, end-all tool. It's a stupid piece of paper that doesn't know how much water to let through it. And so if you over-wet it, and a lot of people that you see tell you how to set up your wet palette, just willy-nilly throw water into it. Just don't let it be super wet. Don't ever let the top of the paper be wet, because then you're just diluting your paint the whole time.
Yeah.
Right? What you want the wet palette to do is be water underneath a piece of paper, and that piece of paper needs to be wet enough to open its weave to allow water through. So I go through with warm water, because we paint on a wet palette. I don't, personally. I don't like them. But Jordan only paints on a wet palette.
Yeah,
and
Jordan
has only used Pro-Acryl for eons. And lots of painters have only used Pro-Acryl for eons. But it doesn't like to sit in a lot of water.
Yeah.
And because we don't start with an ultra thick medium, right? And so you will start to dilute our paints much quicker because you don't have to fight through a thick medium first. You are literally, when you put it on a wet palette in a bunch of water, you're immediately diluting its opacity and thinning it down for use, which you don't have to. Our paints are made to use right out of the bottle. So you can put them on the wet palette. Just when you do your wet palette paper, run it under warm water. I just use warm water, and then I squeegee all the water off of the paper, but I saturate the paper, let water run all over it. I crinkle mine up. A lot of people don't like that because then it has like lines in it, but I crinkle mine up and squeeze it, and then I squeegee the water off of it. Then I put it on the damp sponge, and then you're ready to go. Weight the corners down, good to go.
Oh, huh.
Can use it tons.
Yeah, you might have to work on a balance there. Totally not trademark.
It's just at the top. You got too much water coming out onto the top of the paper and getting into the paint. It's floating the pigment in the paint.
Yeah. Baby
That's
J's
the only problem.
Very dry wet palette he uses. He barely uses anything.
The idea of a wet palette in its perfect form is that when water evaporates out of the paint on the top of the paper, water from beneath the paper should replace that so that the paint itself doesn't ever dry out. The problem is with acrylic paint, once any evaporation occurs, it starts to polymerize, which means that the acrylic starts to cure, and the acrylic is plastic. So from the heat generated from evaporation, and in order for the water to leave the paint droplet on the top, evaporation has to occur, which means it's polymerizing. It means that the polymer, the acrylic polymers in there are starting to bond and cure. And so it doesn't matter if you put more water in the paint. So as it starts to cure and more water keeps getting added to it, you start having a weird consistency. It might even have like solid specks. And this is everybody's paint, right? Because no acrylic paint is different in that regard. And so that's why I don't like them. I like them for mixes, right? If you're mixing a lot of colors like me right now, would love to have a wet palette to do these two colors together. Because these two colors that I'm mixing just keep drying up on the dry palette. And then I have to go back and mix them again every time, which I don't mind. I'm used to it. But for a lot of people, it's like, God, that's just tedious. And it is. So wet palettes have a great place when using mixes. But if not, then,
Bots2B says, what if you use acrylic medium instead of water? That would be the messiest experience.
Holy mackerel, and expensive as hell, too. I don't know that it would go through the weave of the paper either.
I would love to try that, though, just for fun, because that sounds crazy.
But see, it doesn't change anything, because you still have the paint going through the evaporative process, generating the heat and curing the acrylic.
Yeah,
period.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter what you put in there. Nothing's going to cure that. And so that's the problem. Wet palettes were made for watercolors, right? Yeah. Watercolors and paste acrylics, I guess.
Paste acrylics?
Yeah. I always counter with the only industry that has any manufacturers that make wet palettes is ours. And that's just because of the wow factor that people bought into for some reason down the road. Because wet palettes are only made by like one other company, and they're not very big. They're right here in town, Masterson's. They're like in the art world. They're right down the street from us, and they're not a very big company. And you don't hear all the best artists in the world using wet palettes in the canvas world. I'm not saying they're bad.
No,
I'm just saying that they're a very niche product, and the niche is really only to keep like blended paints wet longer, so that your mixes stay workable instead of causing you the hassle like I'm going through of going back and remixing them all the time. That's literally the only thing I can see that it's good for in our industry.
Old Wizard Hobby says wet palettes might be the most popular topic on this channel. You know what? It's funny because we get
come and go.
You get that question a lot, but I think a lot of people specifically have gone over to a dry palette with ours, and it's definitely made a huge difference.
Well, it'll help with any paint.
Yeah.
Because again, the reality is that the reason I use a dry palette, this is the question, why don't I use a wet palette? I use a dry palette because my paint is always exactly the way you expect it out of the bottle. As soon as you put it on a wet pallet, it's no longer the way it came out of the bottle. It's diluted immediately. And then it just keeps raising its dilution and the longer you leave it on the wet pallet. There's no arguing that. It will not be the same. Now, you can get paint out of it. If you don't get the paint that's touching the pallet paper and you get the paint from the top of the droplet, it'll be the same as it came out of the bottle for a little bit. But eventually all that water starts mixing into it. And it just depends on how aggressive you are with wetting your pallet at that point.
Yeah.
And I just really like to make sure that every time I go to the pallet, I get the paint the exact way it comes out of the bottle so that I get to determine how to dilute it. Do I want to dilute it at all to thin it for opacity, or do I want to dilute it none? I get to choose every single time, because every single time you go to the pallet, you're going to use the paint differently, right? You may put a layer on that you need very fine, and so you need it to be diluted one way, and then the next time you go to the pallet, you may want it diluted less so you can get a little bit more vibrancy out of it. And sometimes that's impossible if your pallet's over diluting your paint, so you just have to be careful. They're great tools. Don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you not to go get one. I'm not telling you if you have yours and you love it, to stop using it. I'm just being blunt about, the hype is overhyped. People that say you have to have a wet palette just never really learned to paint without it, I don't think. I had always had a Masterson's large, really big one.
Masterson's large.
They have the big, really big one.
Right.
But their paper was never really good. Oh. This was before anybody else was making any other. So I was just using baking sheet, right? The stuff they use in meat, the blood paper.
Oh, like wax packing paper.
It's
like
not wax. It was
butcher
would
paper
stuff
or something
would come through it. It was permeable still.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, I was using that, and it worked okay. But again, it was only because I mix so much, and my mixes would constantly dry up when I was in Colorado. And then in Phoenix, same thing. Phoenix, super dry. In areas where it's humid, hell, you don't even need a wet palette, really.
Parchment paper, yeah. Huh. Mr. Blue says, I think it's worth noting that Jason's style is different than a lot of YouTubers, too. I would say so.
Do you think?
I would say Jason cuts out a lot of the crap in a good way, right? And not saying that a lot of that is crap as in you demystify it for sure. Like there's a lot of noise everywhere, right? And I think you cut to the chase. I think that's the big difference, really, to be honest, right? The only reason why I say that is because that is what's changed my painting game. Because I started there with everybody just watching anything, right, about painting. And I got really stuck in the weeds with like, oh, I need this, I need to do that, I need to do this. And then when I started simplifying the process, I was not only getting better, but also enjoying it more.
Well, I'm a big fan of making, number one, I want to make sure that everybody understands that for me, I always say there's as many ways to paint as there are painters. So there is no right or wrong. You know, if you're ever anywhere where somebody's telling you what you're doing is wrong, that's the only thing that's wrong, is somebody telling you what's right and wrong with painting. I think in general, I am a person who likes to look at the outcome and try to do the outcome with as few tools as possible. Because I come from a world where I didn't have the ability to just buy all the tools. So there probably is some of that that's embedded in what I do. Is I kind of look at it and say, yeah, I don't go out and say I need 50 million tools to do a thing first. Let's see what the simplified version is. And then if you can't do it with the tools you have, then start adding tools that make it easier. Right? Or if it, is too hard to do. You can build a house with a handsaw and a hammer. You can. Right?
Yeah.
And you can build a beautiful house with a handsaw and a hammer. When you're done, you're buying a table saw and an air nailer, guaranteed. Because you'll realize that, but if I were to have these tools, right, this could have happened in half the time. It doesn't even mean necessarily that the quality is going to go up. It's just that, your time and the amount of hassle and investment that you put into it could change dramatically. So, only listen to what it is. I think that if I had a wish, it's that everybody would start with fewer tools and add tools as you knew you needed them, rather than going out and buying a bunch of things and incorporating them into your process because you were told that's what you have to have.
Yeah.
And that's where I think, Chris mentioned a lot of noise. Our industry has a lot of noise of everybody saying, here are the tools you can't live without as a painter. The top 10 things that doctors recommend for painting models.
Yeah.
And what you need is a model, a brush, and some paint. That's all you need. The rest of it is convenience or technique-specific stuff. You don't need an airbrush. Does an airbrush make a lot of things easier? 100%.
Yeah.
But is it something you have to have? No, not a chance. Some people never paint with an airbrush, right?
Yeah.
Mashik, Flame On, never uses an airbrush, right? And so it's like, oh, well, okay. So he gets ridiculous blends, never uses an airbrush.
JV Jago, too late. Already wasted lots of money on stuff that wasn't needed.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that's
100%.
That's how you learn.
100%.
Oh,
but
dude,
that's the thing. And I think through all that
Same
time,
here.
especially when it was my allowance money that there wasn't much of, they had to buy all of this stuff for me. It was like I was very careful about what I purchased because those purchases were the last purchase I was going to make for a while.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times I have to be honest, I would decide to purchase more models before I would decide to purchase more tools. So I would paint with a bad brush because, the brush wasn't I already had one of those.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I don't have this Tiger tank. I could buy a Tiger tank or I could buy a set of brushes. I'd say, I have brushes. I'm buying a Tiger tank.
Right.
And so then you buy a Tiger tank. And now you have a Tiger tank and really crappy brushes. So you got to fight through that whole thing. But, and you start, as you get wiser, you start to understand what's holding you back.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be your tools. I'm not going to lie. Don't buy the cheapest stuff out there if you're really trying to do high-end techniques until you get to a point where your confidence is such that you'll pick up whatever paintbrush and know you can do it. And you will get there with practice, right? I don't care what paintbrush you hand me. As long as it's a general shape that I can use, I don't care what paintbrush you hand me. I'll make it work. But that's taken years to get to a point where I'm that confident, where I'm like, okay, yeah, I feel like I can make that work with this one. Now, if you were to hand me like a number 12 brush and say, paint this eye on this guy, I'm probably going to laugh.
Do it.
But yeah, that's the way. That's the one thing I wish is that I could have everybody just start brush, paint, model, and then find the way to add the tools that actually are meaningful to you. Because I think a lot of people get distressed with, good God, this hobby's so freaking expensive. I got to buy all these things. And they haven't really ever even found enjoyment in it yet.
And like I said, the only way I have learned that is because I've done that same thing, right? I totally did that at the beginning, right? Where all you need is really, heck, our intro set, even just with those 3 Dauntless brushes, heck, you could do 90% of the work that I've ever done probably with just that set, Oh,
yeah.
Like there's just really...
And they don't have to be the brushes that last you forever. You don't have to do that. You figure out what lasts. And, for years, I had one Winsor Newton number 2. One. And it lasted me for 14, 15 years. Mm-hmm. It still was around when I started streaming, which meant it was like 20 years old. It wasn't really worth working with at that point in time, but we used it occasionally on stream back in like 2016.
Yeah.
And it was a brush I had that was passed down from somebody in my family's like art kit to me. Mm-hmm. So, when you look at that, it's like, oh, okay. But then all the rest of them were garbage, like literal garbage brushes, Masterson or Masters series brushes from Hobby Lobby. They were just not great brushes, but they got a job done. I didn't know any better, right? I'd been using crap brushes for so long that until we started making our own, and I was using Winsor Newton Series 7s and stuff, I was like, oh.
I see.
Wow.
Sergio's got a good one. First time chat, by the way. I'd say brush soap is a worthwhile investment, relatively inexpensive, 100%. And will keep brushes intact for longer. 100%. Yep.
Yeah, 100%. That's why brushes and brush soap were some of the first things we made as a company, because it was what really helped the tools that I had be better for what I was attempting to do with them, if that makes sense.
Yep, 100%. Brian says, speaking of tools and airbrushes, I put together the Great Unclean one, and I'm going to start on him. Nice. Love that model. What would you suggest is a good color to start with and then build up? I don't want him to look slimier. Okay. And I do plan to do a bunch of airbrush work on him. What color is your Great Unclean one? I would assume you're going for that classic box-looking green, maybe?
Like that kind of dark yellow green, green.
I love that color.
adding in some fleshiness to him is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like advanced flesh tone.
What would you use for that green? Well, like a base color.
I like dark yellow green, yellow green.
Dark yellow green, yellow green?
Yeah, I don't know that I usually go to bright yellow green. I probably use like faded green or something like that. But
yeah, you know what you could do? You could do that, and then you could noosh it.
Nooshing on that model is amazing.
Yeah, I wish I
might of the Nurgle stuff.
I got too many projects. What am I doing? I just want a great unclean one that I can noosh. That's it. Okay. Rogue Hunter says, what will all the metallics on this model be? What would Jason recommend for a non-metallic dark bronze workup?
Oh, boy.
Non-metallic
I've already been doing it. You'll see it on this guy. We've been doing it on the other city-states models. The bronze that I'm doing starts with dark bronze, then goes into bronze.
Mm-hmm.
Then I did a wash of petroleum brown, and then a wash of brown gray. And then highlight that back with light bronze.
Ooh.
And that's been spectacular. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with all of this. And I am doing all these guys with bronze. Bronze and then some steel. There is some steel that I'm just doing steel with Payne's Gray wash over the top. So super simple.
Brian says, what is noosh?
Chris, take it away.
Nooshes are subtractive weathering medium that gets it's kind of our answer to using a traditional oil wash without the mess and without the toxic chemicals. Essentially, you can put it lies in the recesses really well. So, for example, I'll use brown and petroleum brown to do like oil, right? And I build it up, but Jason's also done, I think is it called pin weathering? Like where you like put little dots on it and then scrape it down?
Dot filters.
Yeah, that's what it filtering. Is. Whereas I use it in an extreme example where I just douse everything and then I wipe it all off, and then whatever it gets in the crevices is where it really leaves that oily look.
Yeah, it's like he said, it's a subtractive weathering medium, which means you put it on the model and then you take it off, and the areas you remove it from will become back to, close to the base coat color. And the areas where it stays will darken up or lighten up. Usually you're using a darker color, but you can do it either way. It gives you the ability to do some really cool filters.
Yeah. Oh, it's great stuff. It's amazing. Jason has a question. Are there any issues with the Dauntless brushes having a hook shape on the end? I've had some issues with some of mine forming it immediately with using it, and I've not used hot water to rinse them.
Well, hot water doesn't matter. If they're starting to hook, it generally is because of the pressure that you're using to apply the paint, the method you're doing. Synthetic brushes will hook, period, because they're plastic. So they get a memory very quickly on the direction you paint. So I have a video out on YouTube that's called Chasing the Tip. You'll notice that I use our Dauntless synthetics all the time. It's all I have at the house to paint with. And I use them here at the studio all the time. And so this one, as beat up as it is, this one's super beat up and dirty, but you can see the tip is still very good. And the reason for that is that the way I paint is that each of your brush strokes will bend the brush, okay? And if you paint with the point of the brush, you exacerbate this. So you should not be painting with the tip of the brush ever until you're doing very fine details, the kind of details that won't bend the brush hardly at all. Let me use some color here, right? So if I get the brush loaded up with paint now, right? And let me show you that. Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah.
Right? That looks like a curled tip. That's just the paint in the brush curling it over. So I'm not ever worried about that. So then once you have some paint on the brush, if you're painting with the tip, you need to be kind of doing the detail that will barely bend the brush. That's meant to just do very thin lines, right? Thin details. Maybe you're painting symbols of some sort on Space Wolf shoulder pads or something like that, right? So you're painting runes.
Yeah.
And so you're painting because you're using it kind of like a pencil. You want to avoid that in all other cases, and what you want to be doing is painting with the side of the brush. Okay, the side of the point. So in this case, you'll see me here. Every brush stroke that you do starts to flatten out the brush. So let me do a kind of a heavy bunch of strokes. And you notice my point is now gone and it started to spread, right? But if I turn it this way, it gets narrow again. See how the point gets narrow again?
Yeah.
Wide, narrow. So rotate the brush 90 degrees to get back to the narrow part. That gives you your point back, and then you paint a couple times, and now it spreads again, and you rotate it, and you're back to your narrow point. So if you continually do that with your brushes, which gives you the tip that you want to be using anyway,
right?
But you're painting with the side of the brush. When I hit the model, I'm hitting it like right there, okay? Not like this, like this, right? So my brush is typically at about a 45-degree angle or shallower, down like this. The more shallow I go, the thicker the line I can get, the more coverage I get when base coating. The higher it gets, the more detailed the line should be, and the less pressure you use. So just remember that as you're painting with a round barrel brush like this, that you lean it over, paint at about a 45-degree angle, so you're not really bending the tip. Like when I'm painting, look at how little the tip is having to deflect. And let me get some more paint on here. Right. So I don't have to press very hard, but I get a lot of paint. See? So I'm not having to do this.
Yeah.
You don't want to paint where your brush is having to bend like this, unless you're doing really heavy texture or something. You'll see me beat the crap out of brushes sometimes when I'm doing really fast textures and things, blends. That's fine. But you'll mean to do that, and then when the brush kind of, fails over time, you'll be like, yeah, but that's my stippling brush. That's the one where I beat the crap out of the tip on the model all the time to do stippling. That just tears your brush up, right? Gives you great results. You just have to have in your head that, oh yeah, I use that one for stippling. I'm going to throw it away. Okay. But if you do that and you chase the tip like I'm talking about, then you'll save a lot of your brushes, sables, synthetics, the whole nine. But that's where the hook comes from, is because typically we're all trying to paint, you're using a pretty heavy hand and using the tip of the brush. And every time I do that, the brush wants to start hooking that direction.
Yeah.
And it will eventually bend that way, right? That's why I say rotate it around 90 degrees, do a few strokes, rotate it around 90 degrees, do a few strokes. You'll save all of your brushes for a very long time, because even the sable, the natural hair brushes, as you continue to bend them in the same direction, will break the hairs. So flexing them back and forth in different directions helps to give you more life to your brushes.
Boss2B says, do you ever use a very small liner brush for lines? ?
Nah, not really.
You typically
smallest brush I use is like a number 1.
Yeah.
I'll use the 0 or 00 occasionally for like dotting an eye or something like that. But, most of our brushes will give you a very good point, like this, right? I've got a very good point, so I can do whatever kind of detail I want with just this same size brush. And it's all about the pressure I use, right? If I go in and I push a lot, I get a thicker line. If I push very little, then I get a thin line, and I can do smaller dots and
zoom in there.
Details as I go. My main brushes are size 2, 3, and 4 that I do the bulk of my work with.
Valneed says that's a pretty red buildup.
Yeah, the red. I really wanted to make the red punchy on these guys. I don't really know why. Because I was feeling it.
It's a number 1, totally not trademark, says a number 1 in the U.S. or the EU?
I mean, manufacturer to manufacturer, it's going to change.
And we're always talking about ours. So if you buy a brush in the EU, it's the same one that Jason's talking about over here as well. But I get what you're saying. No, Forsaken. When did you do the red, Jason? When did you do this red? It was a couple.
I didn't do it on stream.
Oh, we're gonna have to do that.
This was all done off stream, unfortunately. I have another one of these guys. The leader for this group is yet to be built.
We'll do a red cloak for that.
So we will focus on the red that I did when we do the leader.
I think a lot of
leaders called the Eidolon or something like that for these.
Yeah,
and I'll make sure that
we'll record that one too.
Focus on it. I thought about it as I did it like midnight at home.
A lot of people are like, hey, man, I need this red workup.
Yeah, I did it at like midnight at home. I was just jonesing to paint one night. And then when I got done, I go, oh, people are going to yell at me for this.
Lap Live, no need to be sorry. Here's a question. Could you tell us the difference between Dauntless and Pro Synthetic?
Dauntless are made by machines. Pro Synthetics, Pro Series, Sables, all of our other brushes are all made by hand. cuts the cost, cuts the longevity. They're not going to be as good a quality in general. But with brushes, you run the risk of getting a brush that lasts for 20 years every time you open a package.
Yeah.
But brushes are a disposable product. They are not meant to last. We don't build them. Nobody builds a brush to last you 20 years. If you get one that lasts 20 years, you're lucky. They're made to use and abuse and replace. Now, I never say throw out, because we cut our brushes down and use them to do other things like stippling or texturing or whatever else. A brush that doesn't do detail anymore is not a dead brush. A brush that doesn't do detail anymore is just relegated to doing something else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And the second part of the question is, and when/for what job you consider synthetic over sable or sable over synthetic?
Well, before we started doing the testing on the sables that we make here, which is what you see me painting with right now, we only made a couple of 3s and 1s. That's all you've seen me using for a while now, is this Sable 3 and the Sable 1, because I am our major, I'm the product developer and I'm the big test guy. It has to, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So I got to make sure I like them. So I'll be painting with them. So I've been painting with the Sable 3 for quite a while, and it's fantastic. But I typically am a synthetic guy. I use synthetics for almost everything, all the time.
Yeah. I use I love our Pro Sable number 2 and our Dauntless number 3. Those are I go back and forth between those brushes.
The biggest thing that I tell people for making the decision is to pay attention to what you think the pressure of your hand is when painting. How much hand pressure do you put or do you apply to the brush? Like right now I'm painting very delicate, just putting out a little bit of paint along the highlight of this thumb pad there.
Yep.
Right? So I'm not even bending the brush really. It's just a little hairline of paint that's going on there, little dots, right? Because I'm highlighting inside really tight areas here. I don't want a lot of paint, so I'm not pushing very hard. And if you find yourself painting very delicate like that most of the time, then a synthetic or sable would be great for you. If you find you press harder, and I would suggest you look at how the brush flexes when you paint. You saw me a minute ago go, if you paint, and every time you paint, you bend the brush over 90 degrees like this with every brush stroke, that's not bad. You don't have to train yourself to not do that, but sables will work better for you because a sable is softer and it will bend further before the tip just completely splays like that.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas a synthetic, when you push on it, will start to splay a lot quicker in general terms.
Yeah.
Right. And because they're stiffer, they have more snap. That's why I prefer synthetics over sables, is that they have more snap. The sable, when I paint with it, if I do put pressure on it, it will maintain the kind of bend. It won't go back to straight as quickly as a synthetic will. So I tend to like for the brush to go back to dead straight because I do a lot of texturing where I want the brush to be pointed in a certain direction when I hit the model.
Mr. Blue says, is there a hairbrush that's a tad stiffer than sable?
A natural hairbrush?
Yeah.
Horse?
Like
they just don't make them in like artist round sizes very much because that's not what they're used for in the broader world.
Horsehair brushes?
Yeah, horsehair. They make camel, horse, goat. There's all sorts of stuff, but they will be harder to find in detail size brushes. Because you got to remember, the bulk of the brush world and the artist brush world is made for
big canvas
painters.
Yeah.
So we still are not, even like Winsor Newton has a line called Mini, the Series 7 Mini.
Yeah.
That's not meant for miniatures.
What's it meant for?
It's just small points. It's made for detail.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't really work well for us because the body isn't very long. So it's a weird misnomer because they just called them minis for so long. But yeah, I've always said just find the brush you like. Don't worry about what somebody tells you. You got to paint with sables. They're the God's gift. They can be, but a lot of people don't like them. If they're too soft, they bend too much.
Yeah.
They don't give you the result you want, then definitely don't feel like you have to. Don't think there's something wrong with you because, God, I tried sables. I don't like them. They're also expensive and getting more expensive. So, there's a world where what we attempted to do years ago was to come out with a way to have a brush that loaded and unloaded paint, meaning that when I dip it in the paint, it draws paint into the belly of the brush like a sable.
Yeah.
And then releases paint like a sable. Sables were built originally to be watercolor brushes.
Right.
And so they have a lot of very small diameter hairs in them. And having a lot of hair in the brush means that it can take a less viscous fluid and keep it in the brush before it just comes pouring out when you touch the model surface. If you were to take like a horsehair brush, coarser hair, bigger follicles or bigger hair diameter, means that it can't hold low viscosity fluid in it because there's not as much hair in the bundle for the same size brush. Horsehair is just bigger. And so sable hair is smaller, thinner, right? And so you get a lot more hairs in a number 3 sable than you do in a number 3 made of anything else. That's why they work so well for watercolor. Having synthetic that gets to this level of diameter is very, very difficult for it to not break and to still maintain the kind of flex that we need it to as a paintbrush. So we're there. We have synthetics that do that, and they load and offload paint like a sable does. Yeah. But they're still stiffer because they're plastic. They just can't be as delicate. They're close. That's what our pro synthetics are. Why they cost sable prices almost. We're constantly looking at ways to do it, but it really is a deal where just try it. Before you offload a bunch of money on paintbrushes, buy a single or two. Buy a sable, buy a synthetic. Buy a pack of 10 for $10 from Walmart. Get everything and try them and see what you like. There are painters out there that swear by the cheapest brushes in the world. It's what they learned with. It's what they feel comfortable with. They keep painting with them. Great. There are painters out there that paint with $60 paintbrushes all the time and throw them in the garbage every 2 weeks, and they're fine with that. My friends in the canvas painting world that sell their canvases for a ton of money look at me funny when they hear that people in our industry are worried about the condition of their brush. You look at their brushes sitting in a can of turpentine, and they're like, dude, all my brushes are like 13 years old and pieces of garbage. Yeah.
Rogue Hunter Gaming says, I think I may have misunderstood Jason's answer. He was saying the current flesh workup would be... He was saying this current flesh workup would be what to do for non-metallic dark bronze. Or was he saying...
No, I said when I do bronze on this, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm not to the metal yet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Sorry. No, when I will do bronze on this guy, probably next.
On the actual non-metallic bronze?
Oh, no.
You're doing just straight up bronze on this.
Yeah, I thought I was asked what metallic bronze would be like.
No.
Because we were doing bronze on these guys.
Yeah.
But it's with the metallics.
Yep.
If you want non-metallic bronze, then like dark golden brown into yellow ochre.
Yeah.
Things of that nature are the way that I do bronze. Using a lot of browns in the background. What would I look at for bronze?
What about the axe?
This was done as bronze, what I would call bronze, right? And this was done with a background of like green into yellow ochre, like dark camo green into yellow ochre, right?
Your that one Space Marine dude with the axe was a good bronze workup.
Space Marine dude with the axe?
Yeah, the Saturnine guy.
Oh,
the red.
That's a lot more brown, but yeah.
That
was up here still.
I think so.
Oh yeah, he's here.
Yeah, who's that or over there?
I don't remember where else we did that bronze.
Just on that.
Just on this guy. So
just on that axe.
So that's more like an oiled bronze.
Yeah, that's right here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is all like dark orange brown, khaki, right? Things like that keep it in that warm, brown level. And this is all done super, super quick, just with khaki. And then we did petroleum brown wash over the top of it, and then go back with khaki over that. And you can get really, really nice, but it's very oiled bronze, like very dirty, gritty bronze, right? And then you had like the Horus I showed you would be more like a polished bronze. Bronze, when you polish it, goes to silver. Yeah. It doesn't go to gold. And so this is what I've done here with the bright pale yellow, is kind of desaturated into almost a silvery shine as you get around the bright spots at the shoulder and such. Right. But similar to the way I work up gold. Typically with bronzes, I like starting with greens, but I started with green with all my gold on my Blood Angels too. So
Furious John, first time chat, welcome in. I've been really enjoying your Pro Acryls, and you've been really enjoying Pro Acryls, and I have yet to find a better white than the one from that set. Thank you so much for making a good product.
Thank you for giving us a shot. That's awesome.
We make a great white.
We make all the colors are great. But yes.
That's true.
All right. So I'm liking where the skin is headed here. I feel like I need to go brighter.
Would you go back and base all the metal bits before you go brighter?
That's kind of my thinking, right? Because again, metallics tend to darken everything down because they're so bright with the shine. So that's the thing I got to be careful of here. And the fact that, what is all of this garbage? I got paint on him somehow. Flicked a droplet of paint over on him. That bastard.
Make streaming model painting a lot. Hey, well, Fear Sean, thank you so much for giving us a try. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we use the dark bronze.
Dark bronze it, yeah. I like it.
That'll be the thing.
I like it.
That's what I have liked so far.
I mean, if you're into that kind of thing.
We know you are.
I do
Mr.
like...
I touch bronze all the time. It's very weird.
I touch bronze? It's a touch...
Isn't that your motto? Got him. It's Christopher. I like to touch bronze.
No,
Masushi.
It's a touch.
That's his
of
name.
Bronze.
It literally has. It's on his driver's license.
It's a touch of bronze.
It says, Christopher.
I'm gonna have
I like to touch bronze. Masushi.
That's not what it is.
It's literally on your driver's license.
It's literally
Don't
a touch.
lie to the people.
It's called a touch of bronze.
Don't lie to the people.
It's a touch of bronze. I can't let that one slide. He knows.
You can't let that one slide?
He knows what he's doing. He's trying to get a ruse out of me, chat. I know this.
A ruse?
A ruse.
He's trying to ruse me.
He just goes around touching bronze, ? Yes.
It's weird.
I guess so.
It's very weird.
Jason, I think he
how
means...
come since the time where fulfillment and production have left the building, it gets very strange around here because Chris is always like, I have to touch bronze. There is no bronze to be touched. I cannot work here.
What are you...
Struts around.
What are you
Very
talking
strange.
about, mister?
Very strange.
All of this false information.
All this is false.
All of this is not real. I don't
Not
touch
at all?
bronze. I give touches of bronze.
See, here we go.
Just a touch of bronze, man. That's all it takes.
See, he just said he likes
I've
to touch
got
bronze.
the Midas touch, but it's with bronze. What's that called? The bronzy touch? I don't know. Yes, Chris is the King Midas of bronze. That's correct. I literally just said that, Chai Cat, on the same level. Sarcastic Grandpa says, I thought his name was Christopher Olive Flesh Masucci. I do use a lot of olive flesh. I need to get another bottle.
Question I have is, do I leave anything on here to be
A secondary
silver?
Silver?
Or do I just do it all bronze?
Do it all bronze. Why not?
I guess we could.
Danch says, what is the brand of paint you recommend?
Wait, what?
Welcome to Monument Hobbies,
Hello.
Dan. That's a great segue. We are the makers of Pro-Acryl. We are
did
Monument
not pay
Hobbies.
This person to come in and ask that
No, we
question,
did not. We make Pro-Acryl. Everything you see that he is using is our paint. Jason is the creator and founder of Monument Hobbies, and he is using all the hobby products you see before you.
Welcome.
We don't use any other paint on stream, just Monument Hobbies Pro-Acryl.
That is one of our favorite questions.
But we appreciate you asking. Yes, Dan's like, oh, cool. Yes. There's a lot of new faces, so we don't ever want to make assumptions. So
No?
we appreciate you
Welcome
asking.
in.
We would love if you're a mini painter to give us a try if you haven't already.
This
But
stuff,
no
I have
free
idea
pub
what
for
it is.
Monument.
So some of it I'm going to paint bronze, and it may not supposed to be bronze, but I don't care.
Did you find any cool Trent models, says Double T? Yes, I spent a lot of time looking up STLs. There's a lot of trees out there. A lot of trees. I built the Conquest models.
Trees.
Those are cool.
Those are also
I'm probably
trees.
going to get my own set of those at some point.
They're really neat.
I do. I like them a lot. Plus, I've been trying to figure out how I would convert my Sylvaneth GW trees into Hjorns, and I might use the extra faces from that kit to do that.
Oh, no, he's stealing my stuff.
No.
That's what he's doing.
I'm going to get my own set because now I'm like, okay, wait a second. If I do the math, you get 2 extra faces by the time you're done with that box. So I have a whole plan now, chat.
I would have thought there would have been more than that, but
I thought so too. I thought you would have at least gotten 3 variants for each, but there's only 5 face options, technically.
For 3 models.
Right.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah, so yes, there's a lot of different trees out there. My buddy's about to start painting soon, and I pushed him to monuments this year because I use them. Oh, nice.
Thank you.
We always appreciate it.
Very awesome.
Dan says, I'm new here. Start to paint minis recently. Sweet.
Welcome.
Dan, you've literally come to the right place. We do this from 2 to 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is Monument Standard Time, for you didn't know. Monday through Friday. Well, kind of. We just start at 2 now. Who knows when it'll go to. we start at 2 at some point of the week.
This is
because Jason sometimes
giving me guff. Jack.
No, it's a good
guff.
thing.
I do the after hours stream.
That's
now,
fine,
and it's actually really cool. I'm looking at this, wondering if maybe I shouldn't do
dark bronze.
No, if I shouldn't make these mechanical bits more silvery on these guys.
On these guys in particular because of the skin?
Well, because the mask I wanted to stand out as bronze.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if the repetition across everything winds up being too much. If all of the clockwork stuff is also bronze. So we'll play with it and see. Bronze as a base for the silver is not bad. So
Mouth, you know what's funny? People have been sending me that short. Somebody did Earthworm Jim on a Space Marine this past week.
Nice.
I saw that. Yes.
I'm telling you, man, you're gonna wait so long, it's not gonna be cool anymore.
Oh, mine will be cool. Trust me. It's coming to fruition.
Have you figured out what you're putting him in?
No, that's the problem. That's my main problem. I need to sit down and think about it. I'm thinking a Dreadnought, but I'm also thinking of just a cool Space Marine.
I was gonna say, what about like Terminator armor?
Could be cool. Put him in a Terminator. I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
I love how you say you'll have to think about it when you've only been thinking about this for now, I don't know, months?
Psyker, no. Epic Duck Studio is not the one that head was from. I know the ones from Epic Duck, and those are okay, but that's not the print that I would like. The one that is in that short is from a random file from, I think, Colts or something, because I've seen that one printed, and it's not the typical one you've seen. It is, it looks more like Earthworm Jim 3D, which is the one I want.
You already have the head, don't you?
I don't. That's the problem.
I thought you said you had it.
The head?
Yeah.
No, I have the file. I don't have the actual head.
Oh, but you have the file you want.
Yeah. Jason's asking, any advice on what to do if a synthetic brush has a few stray hairs?
Got him. Gazoonite. Holy.
Cut him at the base.
Yeah, let me take a moment and show you, because saying cut it is a dangerous proposition.
Cut it.
You can ruin a brush very quickly by trimming hairs incorrectly. So give me just a second. This one probably has some. This one's beat to crap.
All right, I'm gonna zoom in for this example if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna zoom.
So there is an old video on our channel where I go through and show you how to clean and prep and do all sorts of brush care. One of the things I show you on there is to take any brush that you are having problems with, right, and just kind of beat the devil out of it on your thumb, because that'll loosen up any of the hairs that are kind of squirrely on. Oh, this one has a ton of them that are.
I'm really zoomed in, chat, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. This one
has a ton of short ones, but none of them are really causing problems. None of them have busted away from the bristle. Well, yeah, like this one down here has a whole bunch of them here. An old, there's one. Grab clippers.
So this, again, for everybody who's knowing, this is how you fix stray hairs.
Can you focus that more?
Mm-hmm. 1 second. There you go.
There you go. So see that hair? Yeah, it's shorter than the bundle. Means it's broken off at some point in time. Right? It would not be that tall. So this one has broken off at some point. And over time, it'll load up with paint. Paint will get loaded in the ferrule. This is a nasty brush. But it'll start to stick out further and further from the side like that. And eventually that can cause you problems, because if it gets paint on it, then it gets stray paint on the model. So what you want to do is section it off from the rest of the bundle with your clippers, right? And then take your clipper down to the ferrule, right down to the metal bottom, and then clip it off there. Okay? Boom. Now you don't have any, unnecessary length of hair. You'll see, like, there's a whole bunch of them here. These are all spots where hair has been broken, and what's left is just really small down at the bottom of the bundle. Oh, yeah, there's one right there. There's one right there, right? Like that one, right? Sometimes the shorter ones are harder to get, but you can still kind of section them off and pull them down and clip them off. And you can trim it as much. These I'm not as worried about. They just make your brush look bad, because they shouldn't be getting paint on them anyway at a level that really matters. So you grab it like that, pull it down, clip it off, and just go around. There's more. And just clip them off that way. The short ones I'm not as worried about. The ones that I'm worried about are any of them that come up about halfway up the brush or further that aren't part of the bundle. And it just happens, right? Like this brush, you can see we've used this brush so long, it's starting to look like a squirrel tail. It's all fuzzy up at the top. It loses its dimension. And that's just because the bristles break.
Yeah.
Right? Your hair does this as you wash it and whatever else. And this is synthetic, right? So it might start to not hold as good of a point or whatever, at which point in time you can start to trim it back. You're reducing the size of the brush as you do so, because the bundle's getting smaller as you go. But for the most part, still a very usable brush. I mean, I'm using it here, so.
There you go. The mo you know.
We know Mo. We know Mo.
What are you going to do? Chat, there you go. Fix it. Rocco says, how is your Dauntless that beat up with no hook? I used a synthetic twice, and it's already starting to hook. Chase the point.
Yeah. You just have to constantly be rotating your brush. It's getting a memory is what it's getting, right? It's like, I always say the analogy of like, bending your plastic credit card in the same direction all the time, and eventually it breaks, right? Same thing with brushes.
Yep.
Just make sure that you're constantly reviewing the direction you're painting in, and you'll see me rotate my brush all the time, because I'm wanting to dial back to where the bristles are sharp and kind of a knife's edge.
Oh.
And that'll cause me to have to rotate it. So it's not as evident all the time, but I'm constantly shifting my brush like this.
Yeah. Yep.
Every couple of strokes, I'll rotate the brush around. It's just become second nature for me. Not because of any brush that I use, but just because I'm constantly finding, it doesn't matter how good your brush is, how much money you spend on it, how old it is, new it is, whatever, you're going to find that you will have a spot where the point flattens out as you put pressure on it. It's just physics. And so in order to get back to a sharp point, rotate it, and then apply the pressure from that new direction.
Hooper saying, who designed the texture trainers at Monument? Jason did.
Me.
I've ordered 2 now and love them. Will there be more coming out?
Yeah. Yeah, I've already got the next 3 of the round
balls.
texture trainers, and we have the next 3 of the framables as well. The framables are being sculpted right now. The other 3 texture trainers, the normal ones, are not at sculptors yet, but will be soon. And those are the next 3 regular texture trainers are done by a new artist who took some ideas. So they'll be the first ones that aren't really kind of, well, I guess that's not true. I guess one of them is designed by me pretty much flat out. And then the other ones are more concepted. We got some monsters that are concepted by the artist themselves rather than by me. So I love to work with artists that are unafraid to put their own ideas in the hat. But I do a lot of the initial storyboarding and concepting. I'm working with Ricardo, who did the first 3 framables right now, and some really cool miniatures that I think you guys will love, that are actually full-bodied miniatures that I'm hoping to find a way to put as on-sprue minis that we can have in paint sets. I think that would be really cool. But I have yet to see the final sculpts. We're getting close, and I'm very excited about them. Hopefully I'll have some cool stuff to show you later on this year.
It's going to be great. I'm very excited. No, miserably, we don't sell the STLs for those.
Not at this point. I keep reviewing it. A lot of people want us to. And while I'm not opposed to selling STLs, they would have to be designed from ground up to be sold as STLs. We don't have, that's not what people know us for. And when you sell STLs, you'll notice that the people that sell STLs and do well at it sell you 50 new models every month.
They do. They sell a lot of STLs.
We don't have, that's not who we are. We make paint. So for us, the models are something that we love to paint. Yeah. And not just to give you, 50 more dungeon crawlers for your D&D campaign. So we don't sell the STLs because it would lose us money. We don't sell enough of the texture trainers to do $5 downloads or $15 downloads or whatever.
Moody, thank you so much for that sub.
The logo style texture trainers would be great.
That would be kind of cool.
Well, it's on the Genicorn.
Yeah.
And a bomb heart or something. I love the idea of the bomb snail. And the unicorn. If we could get them to be
cool.
A little more, add a little more flair to them. I only ever drew those as stickers. They weren't meant to be.
Right.
We actually were hand sculpting. I was teaching sculpting on streams years ago. And I found it not too long ago. It's in that room back there.
What is?
The bomb snail. The maquette for the bomb snail. The legs and beginnings of a head and arms and stuff were sculpted on him.
A lot of stuff in that room.
There's a lot of stuff in that room. There is, yes.
There's a lot of little things in there.
There's a lot of stuff in that room. You are not lying.
Jason says
I don't know how many of you were around back then. Was anybody around back then when we did? We did 2 sculpts on stream.
There's a lot of people, probably.
Oh no, this is 2015, 16, man.
Long time ago.
I don't know how many of these people were around back then.
He's using dark bronze, Wolfen.
But we did a Coleman Striker for War Machine.
Darth Mullen says I was around.
Were you, Darth? For the Striker and the Bomb Snail? We had some fun. I was teaching people. Somebody had asked me about sculpting by hand, and so with epoxy sculpt and not epoxy sculpt, with God, what clay did I even use? I don't remember. Maybe it was epoxy sculpt. We did a Coleman Striker full figure at 75 mil, and a version of the bomb snail, which was going to be this really fun kind of guy in or the snail in a tank top, smoking a cigar, looking haggard. We didn't ever get him done. But the beginnings of it are in that room back there.
There you go.
So
pick up where you left off, Jason.
Kind of fun. Nah, not after all those years. I'd have to start from scratch again because the clay would break. It would need to have been molded. I mean, it still would be a good master if we'd have done it that way, but how fun would that be? Take that over to Brennan and say, here you go, make a mold of this for me.
Here you go. Jason.
I want to make these. I don't want to hear you tell me it's time.
It's 3:56. Are you going late today?
I don't want to hear you tell. No, my mom's in town. Go home and do family things. Hang out. Be sociable with my mom. I took the day off today, Chet. As much as I can. They pull me back in all the time. Like the Godfather.
The Godfather.
I tried to take a day off. I did a pretty good job, didn't I?
You did. I thought you were working from home today.
No, that's why it says on my calendar out of office.
That's true. I thought you said you were working from home.
No.
But never mind. I take it back then. That makes sense.
No, for 2 days I'm not working at all. As my mom just came to town. Other than the stream. See, chat, this is how important you are to me.
There you go.
And tomorrow, guess what we're doing?
What are we doing?
We're bringing my mom.
Oh.
Onto the stream.
Really?
Yeah.
I see.
So my mom, Jen, and Poppy, most likely.
There you go.
Try to bring Poppy. Will be on the stream. So
That'll be
a
fun.
lot of fun. My mom is all apprehensive. She's like, if you're going to make me do it, I guess I'll come. So I think she's gonna have the time of her life. But
Wirehead says it'll be a monument streaming.
It's Monumental Tuesday. It's gonna be fun.
We'll have a good time.
It should be a blast. I'm looking forward to it. She's gonna have fun.
Is she gonna paint?
No. No. I mean, I'm not assuming that she wants to be put in that kind of a predicament.
No.
The first thing she said is, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. So if you have me doing chat, I don't know how to do any of that. I was like, Mom, that's not how that works.
It's okay.
Chris will do all the heavy lifting.
I do all the heavy lifting.
You don't have to do anything.
Right? But yes, be on your best behavior, Commando Ken.
My mom's a hoot. You'll love her. She's been in chat before. I don't know if Darth Nolan was around when we were sculpting. He probably remembers my mom being in chat. But she used to come in chat from time to time. She says she still stalks us. She says she never talks, but she'll tune in every now and then and watch from the rafters, so to speak. I don't know how much I believe that, but give it the benefit of the doubt. All right. Well, I like the skin where we got it.
There you go.
And I think if we darken the bronze down on these, then I still like everywhere where there's like a whatchamacallit?
Doohickey?
Well, yeah. Like a hinge or a piston or something in the body. I'll want to go in and put some magenta and make it look irritated around those spots.
Yeah.
And then I think I am going to do all the hinges and pistons and stuff in silver. So it just, like on this leg, just the foot and that heel bit are bronze. Everything else will be silver. So I'll back in and do that over here because I think that's just too much. If the mask.
It's an Inquisitor arc.
Nice. Yeah, these are called Inquisitors. They come in a series of 3 of these big brutes. That are just the way that their legs are makes them very scary to me because I can't imagine how they move. Like I can see them. I mentioned that to me, the way in my head these guys look coming across a battlefield is like if you ran a smooth video but took out 2 or 3 frames every batch of 10. So they kind of lurch.
Yeah.
Like, but it looks like they move across gaps that they couldn't get across. Like they just kind of teleport. If that makes sense. Like they just kind of lurch and almost like a bad TV signal just kind of jump around.
Yeah, they're cool.
That's the way I have it in my head because they're off balance and the way that they're stepping doesn't make sense. The anatomy is all crazy. So it's actually really cool.
All right,
yeah,
Jason.
dark bronze is fantastic, just like on its own. That's just a base coat of dark bronze. It works great. I wish I would have brought the other 2 commanders in because I worked on them over the weekend at the home studio. And they're starting to look really good. We found a really good concoction for doing the wash because I'll just do dark bronze, and then we do a wash of petroleum brown and then brown gray. And then those 2 together darken the bronze up really, really neat, but give it kind of a greenish undertone from the petroleum brown. And it looks really, really good. And then I'll highlight back over that. That'll keep it that kind of oiled bronze, like that axe, right? That really deep bronze. That then all the flesh and the reds and the stuff work really well with. It doesn't look as gold as this. And it lets the little gold bits that we paint really stand out.
All right, Jason. I see if
you would understand how they move. No, these don't have like the waist doesn't have like a pivot point like that. But that, yeah. These look all herky-jerky. Like they would just kind of be like Frankenstein-ish.
They're very odd. They look monsterish for sure. Yeah. Like they would definitely.
I need to read about them and figure out in the lore like what makes these guys tick.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like having big, huge inquisitors. You think of an inquisitor as somebody that knocks on your door and tries to make friends with you and then puts you in jail.
Right.
The Spanish Inquisition burns you for being a witch or something. I don't think these guys are looking to hang people or burn them for being witches. I think they're just looking to like absolutely shred you.
They look monstrous.
But everybody, thanks so much for hanging out and watching some paint dry with us. Lovely to be back. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. So for those of you maybe new here, hit the follow button or the subscribe button, whichever channel you're on. We stream live to Twitch, YouTube, and Kick Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Monument Standard Time.
That's right.
Here from Monument HQ. Me and Chris.
That's
the
me.
Lovely Chris.
That's right. That's right.
Chris, I like to touch bronze Masushi.
I don't like that.
That's what you did.
It's a touch of bronze. It's a touch of bronze, Jason.
That's your motto. It's what I said. So,
no fight, chat.
That's exactly what I said, right?
No.
That's exactly what I said. But thanks for hanging out. Make sure to check the links that Chris put up in the chat there. MonumentHobbies.com, MonumentHobbies.eu, the 2 online shops where you can buy our products across the globe. We'd love to have you give us a shot for your paint, your brushes. Next time you have a hole in your hobby supplies, give us a chance.
Mm-hmm.
To all of those that already use our products, thank you so much for keeping us alive. Appreciate the support.
Yes, thank you.
Make sure to tune in every day. Join the Discord. We've got, closing in on 7,000 crazy nerds just like you and me that are sitting over there inspiring, having fun, talking about dinner and dogs and painting and gaming and snow.
A lot of
talk about snow. So come join us on the Discord as well, where you can get in touch with us all the time. But stick around. Chris is going to find you somebody to raid. There'll be more hobby goodness on throughout your evening, and we will catch you back here tomorrow for Monumental Day.
Monumental Day.
Adios, gang.